This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
But what to do about being gay? I secretly got on the train to Paris to see if boys were worth the hassle of ruining my life. I told no one. I was living on my own in a flat in Ilford, having been thrown out of the house by my stepfather because my mum didn't like Titanic. I bought a time-out guide to Paris and hid it in the back of my wardrobe just in case anyone came round. I thought the fear of being gay could be responsible for creating these overpowering gay feelings. This made sense at the time, even though people who are scared of heights don't also have an intense sexual urge to sit on a roof. I thought if I just went somewhere and did something, I could move on with my life. And the boys I fancied tended to look like girls anyway, so I thought if I can just find a girl with short hair and no breasts, I'll probably be alright. It was a great plan, and it would have all worked out if it hadn't been for those pesky dicks. I packed a small black t-shirt, hair gel, and contact lenses, because I thought that's what they'll like. A skinny boy with spiky hair and the illusion of good eyesight. As soon as I arrived, I changed in the bathroom of the train station. Looking at myself in the mirror as I put my contact lenses in, it freaked me out that nobody knew I was there. I thought I could just die here and nobody would know why. All he had on him was hair gel. What was his plan? I remember talking to myself in the mirror. Are you okay? I think so. Are you okay? I don't know. Maybe we're okay. I got in a cab to the club I'd circled in my time-out guide, Le Queen. There was a woman on the door who said it opens at 10, doesn't really get going until 1. It was 8 o'clock. I nervously walked up and down the street, mumbling to myself for hours. I was hopefully going to kiss a boy, but I was also going to be very tired. Eventually, it was an appropriate time to arrive at the club. I went in and wasn't quite sure what to do other than drink a lot. I'd never been to a nightclub before. I went on a lad's holiday to Magaluf at 17 with some equally awkward friends, but we were too scared to go clubbing. We didn't understand how anyone could just walk into a building and then transition from standing still and talking to stopping the talking and beginning the dancing. We discussed this for many hours while sitting on a wall outside a club. I assumed because I was young and skinny, someone in Paris would approach me and tell me who I was, but no one did. This is so strange to me now because that vulnerable 18-year-old boy, even to this day, is my type. I wish I'd been there for me. I did a lot of walking around the enormous club over the next 2 hours and eventually saw a really cute boy. I felt just brave or drunk enough to go up to him and say the French for "will you kiss me?" a phrase I'd written on a small piece of paper and memorized. I tapped him on the shoulder and he quickly turned around. I asked, "Allez-vous m'embrasser?" And he kissed me. I still remember thinking, as he was kissing me, oh yes, gay. It felt like the kind of kiss that I was supposed to be involved in. And then it stopped. He started speaking in French and tried to give me his phone number before running off. I should have learned the French, for I'm only here for one night, or followed him until we found a translator. I still can't believe my French wasn't better when just 2 years earlier I achieved an A star in my French GCSE oral exam for sentences like "Mon père travaille dans la banque." My dad didn't work in a bank, but I couldn't figure out how to say "my father runs a courier company" and thought, who's going to check? The boy left, with no idea what he'd done for me. I thought I could probably go home at this point, but then decided that I'd come all this way and my hair was still quite pointy. I felt confident now. I knew exactly what I wanted, and half an hour later I saw somebody else. Not quite as cute, but he could speak English, which was useful. I asked, can we go somewhere? He said he had some people in his apartment, but had an idea. I asked, what's your idea? And then he took me to a canal where I lost my virginity. And then, and this is the most disgusting and romantic sentence I have for you, we washed the cum off our hands in the fountains of Paris. Thank you. But here's the sad bit. I think if I'd slept with the first boy I kissed that night, I could have got on the train home and come out immediately. Instead, because the chemistry wasn't quite there by the canal, I was left thinking I could probably live without that kind of thing, and didn't touch another person for 3 years. I started going to a terrible nightclub in Romford with my old school friends, who had since learned how to transition from standing still and talking to stopping the talking and beginning the dancing. I felt it was very important to stay in contact with my old school friends in Essex, perhaps so I could avoid being myself in London. Even when I spoke about this years later on stage, I didn't deal with the reason why I went clubbing in Romford, just the frustration.
3 years between the ages of 18 and 21. 3 years every Saturday night in Romford. 3 years every Saturday night in Romford. 3 years. Because nobody told me that London was close. And you had to wear black trousers to get in, black shoes, an untucked shirt. And I don't like it when the dress code is basic dick. I think it's restricting One time, I don't know if I was being rebellious or if I just thought it would be okay, I wore black trainers. I thought that would be all right. And the bouncer looked at me and said, "You can't come in like that. You come from a gym." Which gym do I look like I've come from? He's such a basic human being. To him, there's only two forms of dress: club and gym.